What is up? How is everyone doing? This is the Ball Knowers Pod. My name's Zach, and with me I do have Joller. Uh, we are missing one host, Justin. I know our last episode we had our celebrity host Ryan come out and help us out, which was pretty awesome. But we're gonna try something new for everyone. We're gonna try and recap the games from Sunday, kind of go over the scores if everyone missed those, and then preview this week's slate of Week 12 of the NFL in the same episode. We'll kind of do it. We know we're more than halfway through the season, so there's a lot of games that matter a lot, and there's a lot of games that matter very, very little to majority of people, unless that's your team, which I totally get. But like my Colts, I don't care. But nonetheless, we'll go over all the scores for you, and then we'll also preview Week 12 of the NFL as well. As I mentioned previously, all of our listeners know your team more than we do. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, we'd love to hear them all, or any extra info in your team's land, in your team's Reddit, we'd like to know. But nonetheless, let's try something new here, and we'll go and get started. Ryan and I did talk about the Thursday night game, the Commanders-Eagles last week. Jane Daniels did not look good. Eagles came out with the win. We kind of touched base on that last episode. 26-18. It was a late touchdown, so they pretty much had that game 26-10 pretty comfortably. But moving on to Sunday, and then obviously Monday night. Go Pack Go. Bears try to walk it off, and Packers without Aaron Rodgers still own the Bears. It's 11 years in a row, which is wild. Packers come away 2019.
11 wins, but 11 years would also be cool. But that's
11 wins. Okay, so what?
It feels like 11 years.
So yeah, that was insane. It's 11 games. Okay, 11 years. Same thing, man. I mean, once you hit that point,
feels like it.
And next one is just a team that's just rolling through. Every single team, Lions are destroying. They put up a 52-piece against the Jacksonville Jaguars, which that team is just on all cylinders, not slowing down, even though sometimes we think they will. They never do. In a game that the Vikings should have easily handled, they're kind of had back-to-back wins over teams that they're barely winning. They do come out with the win in Tennessee against the Titans, 23-13. But again, third straight win for Sam Darnold and Vikings country. Raiders-Dolphins played in Miami. Dolphins look good, put up a lot of points. Tua put up 3 touchdowns, come away with the easy win, 34-19 in Miami to get them their second straight win. I know they had that Monday night game, so they're kind of slowing, that 6-17 AFC is a toss-up. We'll kind of get into that later. But 2 straight wins for Tua and the Finns, so that's good. Rams visit Foxborough. Stafford throws for 4 tutties, and they do beat a beat-up Patriots team 28-22. Definitely a must-win for the Rams. There's definitely still in the division race in the NFC West. Game of 2 below 500 teams, Browns versus Saints. Truly was a what's the word I'm looking for? Andy Dalton-esque Jameis Winston game that he played 3 weeks ago when he came out and won. They got blown out 35-14. Taysom Hill goes for 3 touchdowns. Colts Jets play. I'm in East Rutherford. AR's first game back as a starting quarterback and looked phenomenal. Had 2 touchdown runs. If anyone saw them, he bodied his way into the end zone twice. And Jets had the chance to come back and get a game-winning drive, and they could not get... excuse me, I flipped that. Colts came back and got a game-winning drive to win 28-27 with the go-ahead field goal. Probably the game of the morning was Ravens-Steelers. Definitely battle for pseudo first place in that division. This is their first game playing each other this year. It was definitely a close one. Steelers kicked all field goals. They've done that, I think, 2 or 3 times this season, and they've won both times or 3 times. They do take this one at home, 18-16. Falcons-Broncos. Bo Nix put up his best game of this season, I think, by far. He throws for 4 touchdown passes, and they roll past a Falcons team that is washed, ? Another afternoon game, division matchup. Seahawks and Niners played in Santa Clara. Again, all these teams in this division, the NFC West, are within the realm of winning. And Seahawks go in and get the upset over the Niners. Niners not look good. Geno Smith scrambles with a late game-winning rushing touchdown to pseudo, walk it off with a couple seconds left. Another top game of Sunday was the Chiefs-Bills. The Chiefs finally got their first loss of the season. We'll kind of go definitely more in detail on this game. Josh Allen has a monster run to seal the win. They win 30-21, which love to see. Sunday night game was pretty crazy too. Bengals were down, I believe, 21 points, almost led the comeback, and Joe Burrow continues to just go off in MVP candidate status. But when your team is 4-7 and you have the worst defense in the league, you're not going to get those votes. J.K. Dobbins gets a late touchdown in late minute to get the win, 34-27 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. And the Monday night game, a game that I'm assuming not many people watched because they knew the Cowboys were going to lose in home because that's just what they do. And they get pseudo blown out by C.J. Stroud as Cooper Rush was in. They lose 34-10 on Monday night. So Cowboys drop to 0-5 at home, 3-7 on the season.
Yeah, Cowboys winless at home in 2024. Wild.
And getting blown out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I definitely want to talk about that Bears game. Assuming you'd watched it.
I did.
Bears are going to Bears. I would have never guessed it would have been a blocked field goal if they would lose this game.
The Packers are the luckiest team that I have seen in my entire life. Every week, what I say about them, how they haven't beaten anybody and they're squeaking by wins, they just keep doing that. It's like crazy how it's a frustrating team to watch, to be honest. Like, I'm glad they're winning, but it's almost like the same thing every week. You got a early first quarter red zone Jordan Love interception. Got to get that out of the way. Bad turnover. Let them back into the game. Game winning field goal, right? Blocked or made. They've won 3 games now off a made field goal or a missed field goal.
On a field goal last play.
Yeah, on a last play field goal, correct. So it's crazy how much it could have changed, how much worse this team could be. Yeah, glad to get the win.
The win-loss columns. The win-loss column does not have photos, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was a frustrating game. There was a stretch where Caleb was playing really well. Packers they're just lucky. I feel very fortunate to win that game, unfortunately, which sounds bad against the Bears. The Bears are a bad team. If the Bears won that game, I would have just ripped the Packers a new one. The whole good teams don't lose to bad teams in November, and I had the whole spiel ready, dude, in my head on Sunday. I was thinking about all the stuff I was gonna say, and I was furious, dude. And then, I don't know if you saw on Instagram or whatever. Supposedly, the special teams in their meetings were saying, I already forgot the Santos, that he kicks low, and the special teams were like, we'd be surprised if we don't block at least one, if we don't get a block kick on Sunday. And they do it to win the game. And the crazy thing is, they said with 25 seconds left in a timeout, the way the field position was, if they ran another play, I forgot who said it, but they thought it would be much more difficult to block it at that range, if that makes sense somehow, right? Like, if they just ran another play, a special teams player was saying it would have been harder to block than the position that they were in when they blocked it, which is it totally falls on Matt Eberflus. I mean, you have 25, you can get off another few yards, right? And there was more than enough time. They were just flat out unprepared, and that falls on coaching. So the Packers got kind of bailed out by really bad coaching, I think. But like you said, a win's a win.
No, I want to win, and like touching on just the offense, Jordan Love is good teams, even mid-ish teams are going to capitalize on an interception, red zone interception, 2 picks. You're lucky it's the Bears, and Bears had the chance to win that game. But you go in the playoffs against, Niners are kind of a weird example. But you go in the playoffs against a Minnesota or a Detroit, and you throw a red zone pick, they are not going to they're not going to let you have that back. So,
no.
But I think what I've been seeing, and even just from watching the Colts Packers game and just kind of seeing like the highlights and stuff too, is I think Josh Jacobs has been probably the best addition, to that offense. I was looking at just kind of his game log over the last few weeks because he catches the ball too out of the backfield. He hasn't had under 90 total yards since the loss to Minnesota.
Yeah, he's been solid. I think as of going into this game, he was 3rd in the league for yards after contact. So he's been solid all year. Big addition, obviously. I was, nervous losing Aaron Jones because he wanted to stay, and I thought at the time it was kind of not a risky move, but it almost felt unnecessary in my head. Like you could have rode out Aaron Jones another year, but with Josh Jacobs being 3 years younger, and he doesn't really have an injury history, and he's just been rock solid. The next 2 years, this year, it was the right move, and he's definitely been probably the cornerstone of the offense. Honestly, he's been solid every week.
He ain't throwing no picks, that's for sure.
Damn straight.
But no, like I said, win-loss column doesn't have any pictures. Win's a win. Definitely a big one, a big division one. And, now in the, obviously that division is tough to win. Still got to, come over the Lions. But making pace or at least one game behind Minnesota. He did lose to them already, so that doesn't help. But hopefully, they kind of, I'm not sure who the Packers play next. We'll touch on that in the latter half of the episode.
Packers play on the Niners at Lambeau.
Oh, that is true. But you still got, at Vikings, at Lions again later in the season, which, that'll help for that last division race and kick. So we'll see. But a win's a win. So, you'll take it. Regardless if Love throws that pick, it doesn't hurt him, ultimately. So
he will.
No, like I said, yeah, it definitely will for sure against better teams, but not in week 11, that's for sure. Who was hurting in week 11 is Doug Peterson and the Jags, who did not even get into the end zone. They got absolutely blown out, 52-6, which is just a wild score for the National Football League. That's like a Alabama versus Bethune-Cookman score, like for college.
Week 1.
Yeah, dude. Like this is like yeah, that's all bad. Trevor Lawrence is still out, so Mac Jones get the start.
The Lions scored 40 points before the 4th quarter.
And their play calling probably slows it down too. The Jags are just that bad because you're not calling, hey, we need to score right now or whatever. You're not calling like super crazy plays.
No, I know, but like when you look at the scoring of this, you see 40 points and it's not the 4th quarter. You're like, holy shit! Like the Lions are. The Jaguars are really bad, right? Everyone knows that. But good teams blow out bad teams, and the Lions' offense is a work of art. They're just absolutely rolling. It's scary. I think. I don't know. I don't want to jinx my team, but they, on paper, they're the Super Bowl favorites for the first time ever officially.
This
Vegas
season,
odds
right?
Vegas odds now has them as.
Which is rightfully so. I think they're about 3 weeks behind, but that's fine.
I was gonna say, I don't know what took them so long. But yeah, they look insane. And I know we said earlier, like, are they going to cool down? Are they kind of peaking too early? But it just doesn't feel that way. I don't know.
Justin said that like 5 weeks ago when they were putting up back-to-back 40-point games or whatever. And he's like, no, they're peaking too early. Dude, they haven't peaked yet. They're going to put up a 60-piece someday, dude.
The rate they're going, they might. And I think I said before too, the playoff loss and the way they lost last year. It was like a learning curve for them, for a team that had tremendous pressure who never did anything to. And if you look at them now, like I said, they look poised. They don't look like they're peaking or they're getting lucky, or they're dominating and they're rolling. And I don't expect them to cool off at all the next few weeks.
No, yeah, I definitely, I don't, and they rightfully so. They do deserve a not only a sprinkle but a handful of money on definitely to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, but give them a chance to win, man. I mean, the NFC is pretty tough compared to the AFC, so they're playing like this, or even they don't gotta play like this. There's no chance you need to ever score 40 plus to win a Super Bowl. Like,
No.
they gave up 6 points. You could have scored 1 touchdown and 1 point after, and you would have won this game. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. Well, it's just a testament to how bad the Jaguars are.
I mean, yeah, Jaguars are dog shit. Doug Peterson is trash, and Trevor Lawrence is on a fake injury run to just sit out the rest of the season. I don't know. I mean, he should at this point. Why would you come back?
Pull Daniel Jones.
Dude, yeah. So bad. But yeah, Lions definitely come out with the easy win, rightfully so. I mean, not easily. They easily handle business. This next one, Vikings didn't beat the Titans as much as I would have hoped. I guess if that makes sense, because you want to see the Vikings. They come off to that 5-0 start, and then were kind of slow and kind of whatever. They had that trash Sunday night game against the Colts that they barely ended up winning, and then they barely squeaked by Mac Jones and the Jaguars last week. 12-7 or 12-8. I just looked it up. It's 12-7. So then they go to Tennessee and they do win 23-13, which is great. In my personal opinion, I didn't think they won by as much as I would have wanted them to, but win's a win, I guess.
Yeah, the game was closer, most of the game. It wasn't really an impressive win for Minnesota. They're definitely floating by, They've been trending down the last few weeks. They're not coming out and scoring on their first 4 possessions like they were the first 4 weeks,
Yeah.
They were the best first half team in football by far. Yeah, obviously not surprised. Tennessee is terrible, but yeah, I mean, it's good for me. I mean, you got to play Minnesota one more time in Minnesota. That'll be a big game, fine for a wild card, but yeah, not too much there. I mean, everyone expected Minnesota to win that game.
Yeah, I mean they did. I mean, it's like it still was close. I mean, looking at when Tennessee scored, they kicked a field goal in the fourth quarter with there was no scoring in the last 13, 14 minutes of a game, which in my personal opinion is always the most boring. Is finishing the rest of the game with no scoring, a whole quarter pretty much with no scoring, and to be down 10 against the Vikings with basically a whole quarter to go. I think a lot of people would take that. Sure, whatever, it's not bad. Second place team or whatever, or fifth seed in the NFC, and you're only down 10 with a whole quarter to go.
Yeah,
they didn't budge and get the win at Tennessee 23-13. The next one, Miami. This one's kind of not surprised to me. Excuse me. I'm stoked to see them doing well. They got the back-to-back wins. The last one was the Monday night game against the Rams, which was kind of close, and then this one, playing a just a down bad Las Vegas Raiders team. Easily, took this one 34-19 at home as well. Gardner Minshew was back, even though they signed Desmond Ridder, which didn't see the point of that. If you're not going to play him, I guess they're just rolling with Minshew. I don't know, but Tua looked great. I mean, 3 touchdowns, nearly 300 yards, and then their tight end Jonnu Smith caught 2 of them. So
Jonnu Smith, Patriots legend. That's what I would say. Yeah, Tua looks good. Dolphins are fun. They're a frisky team. Are there playoff hopes alive? Is there a sliver of hope? I think if they win,
they are. I'll tell you right now.
They're right on the cusp.
They are currently 4-6, technically set as the 9 seed. They would be 2 back behind Broncos at 6. Broncos are 6-5. Broncos haven't had their bye yet, so it's kind of more like 1.5 games back behind the
It'll
Broncos.
be close. Yeah. I mean, I don't. I mean, the Broncos are getting better every week too, though. So I don't. I wouldn't bank on them.
Yeah, I'm
I
big
mean,
on the Broncos slowing down.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the Broncos are in a better division, obviously, right? But yeah, it's getting ahead of ourselves. But yeah, it'd be kind of fun if Miami made the playoffs like a wild card, right? Like if Tua's healthy and they kind of get hot, it'd kind of be like a cool storyline, something fun to see. I mean, everyone expected them to be a playoff team anyways, right? So it kind of feel right. It'd be cool to
Correct.
see what happens, but could be kind of thin.
Um, Sneaky, what's it called? Brock Bowers, man. He's looking good for, rookie tight end. Looks, I can't even freaking organize it by. He is currently in overall yards, he's 10th in the league with 706, and he's the number 1 tight end in yards receiving.
Yeah, it's impressive.
And he is. Oh no, Tucker Kraft got like 3 touchdowns one of the games too. That doesn't help. I was trying to see where he was at the. Dude, Tucker Kraft sneaky man. He gets a touchdown for like every week. Yeah, Dolphins win easily, +15 or they win by 15 at home. Definitely a game they should easily win if they want to have a remote chance. This next one was closer than what it should have been. Stafford throws for 4 touchdowns, and those were all the scores. 28-22. Rams did not score in the fourth quarter, so it was actually 28-13 going into the fourth. But Patriots scored 9 in the fourth to put it within 1 possession. I mean, Stafford goes off 4 touchdowns, 300 yards, and you beat the Patriots by 6. I don't know, something seems off there.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree.
So yeah, obviously Matt Stafford goes almost 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, but I mean, which was kind of good to see. Drake May looked pretty good, 2 touchdowns, 282 yards. He did have 1 pick, but he's a rookie, so I give him that. But it's good to see Drake May like on his feet and looking pretty good. I like seeing the rookies good. I know it's Justin's boy. He likes Drake May.
Yeah, he was worried about an early death with that O line, but he's hanging in there. He looks pretty good though. He's getting better every week. Him and Bo. All rookie quarterbacks are trending right now, except Caleb. But
It's true.
it's true. But
I mean, he's been trending down since day 1.
yeah, sorry, I meant in a positive connotation. But
no, they're all the rookie quarterbacks are definitely trending upwards. I think that the rookie of the year race is definitely heating up. It's going to be a lot tighter than originally thought. Because Jaden was, coming out just freaking lights out. Then has, back-to-back games doesn't look good at all. So, or look kind of weak. So, we'll see.
I mean, it'll be between Bo and him. I think Drake may, the smaller sample size. It's not fair,
No, correct. And their offense as a whole, it doesn't look good. Their teams aren't doing well either, So it culminates in all of that. They take that into consideration. I mean, unless you're a rookie quarterback putting up Joe Burrow numbers and losing, like they're gonna give it to a winning, team. I think as well. So this next one, Browns at Saints. I mean, Saints were kind of dead in the water. I think they still are. The only thing that's weird though is Atlanta is definitely trending downwards and they feel like frauds. That's my only comment before we get to that Atlanta game. So, I mean, Saints.
Reading my mind.
So, I mean, Saints are. I'm going to look at it real quick right now, but I mean, that game, Taysom Hill goes off. Derek Carr, Taysom Hill combined for 5 touchdowns apiece, or 5 touchdowns total, excuse me.
Correct. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I was really hoping for like a Jameis comeback, but that ship has sailed. I think. We were blue balled week one, or not week one, but like Jameis's first thing,
Yeah,
and I expected the Saints to win this game. Not, I thought it'd be way closer though. I didn't think it'd be basically a blowout. I didn't really see
same.
that from them. But I mean, it's in New Orleans, but I don't think that matters too much. But the score it ended up being more of a blowout than I thought, so I'm just a little surprised by that. But I didn't watch most of it, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, it was not a game that I pegged to really spend a lot of time on. I mean, just a little like standings talk for you. Saints are technically 13th seed. They're 4-7, going off to back wins. They don't play Atlanta anymore. They split that series. They do play a game against Tampa Bay, and that's who's technically in front of them in the division. Um, besides Atlanta. So, and Tampa Bay did lose both the games to Atlanta. So Atlanta would definitely need to lose like their, next three out of five or something like that for that division to come into play, which is definitely possible. Atlanta's been on that downtick 100% in the last 2 weeks. They lost against the Saints 2 weeks ago, and then they lost to the Broncos, which we'll touch on in a few minutes as well. So, but 35-14.
Yeah, Atlanta's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been hot and cold. It's weird. They look really good one week and then average the next. And I kind of felt that way earlier in the season too, right? That's why I was so big on Tampa. Just the eye test, I thought Tampa was more sound, and then they lost Atlanta twice, and it was like, okay, they're good, right? They're not like a fluky, like they're a good team. And the last couple of weeks, it's just like surprising, like they're not really carrying that over later into the season to make you think like, okay, they're not like they'll make the playoffs, but they're not like a real, like no one's taking them serious to like make a deep run, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. We could touch in the game, 38-6 Broncos in Denver. Denver's coming off of that loss. Walk-off loss, I guess, if you will, against the Chiefs. They should have won the week prior, the blocked field goal. So I think they was definitely a statement game for them. Be like, nah, F you guys. Like, we're a real team. We should have won last week. We'll be a division winner right now. Watch. And sure enough, So, it was back-to-back games against division-leading teams. And they should have won against Kansas City in Kansas City, but they didn't. So they come out and they say, no, let's show who we are. And Bo Nix goes for 4 touchdowns. Game wasn't close, obviously, at all. 38-6. Over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. And he
definitely
didn't.
His best game of the year by far.
100%. This game, and against Atlanta, I think that's what makes it even better. If he was playing the Raiders or the Browns or something, and he goes off, I mean, yeah, that's still great. Not like sliding that about Bo at all, but going against a division winner and a team that's pegged to make the playoffs and be like a 4 seed or whatever they are, to go out and throw for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns like that. This was a statement game to put him in the mix and potentially put him in lead per se for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I was like leading on that. Obviously, like this was his best game, and stats wise, it kind of not tied, but on paper he's right there with Jaden Daniels after this game. Right, they look more neck and neck, and obviously yes. Jaden did it over a longer stretch. Bo had a monster game. So the next few weeks will be interesting as far as that race. But as of like right now, as much as we like Jaden Daniels, the competition that Bo has played has been better. So you kind of have to like look at that and be like, hey, Bo has played against better competition in a better division. I mean, he had what, like Chiefs, Ravens back to back? It's like that's brutal or something like that, Yeah. So in Atlanta, well, maybe they're a slouch, who knows? But no one thought it'd be like a slouch game, right? And they blew them out. So November is going to be interesting. I think going into December, right? Depending on the next 2 weeks. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be between those two guys, though, for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Caleb's too far out. The Bears are trending down. And Drake doesn't have a big enough release sample size, Unless Tommy Cutlets, unless Malik Neighbors just goes ape shit with Tommy Cutlets the next 6 weeks, I
He
guess
missed some
stranger
games
things have
too.
happened, but yeah, I know. But I mean, yeah, never mind. But yeah, hypothetically in my head, what strange things could happen. But um, yeah, Jaden or Bo, it's going to be one of those two guys, I think.
Um, Speaking of a quarterback that should be in the rookie conversation because he hasn't played a full 16, 17 game season, Anthony Richardson, AR goes up against another AR, Aaron Rodgers. The Colts do come away with the win, as scored a rushing touchdown with 2 minutes left. 45 seconds left to get the go-ahead rushing touchdown to take the lead. They do hang on to win 28-27. This was a pretty good pseudo back and forth game, if you will. I mean, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lead changes. I think that would be considered a pretty good back and forth game. But nonetheless, I mean, Anthony Richardson does outplay Aaron Rodgers, away.
I'm happy for you,
But
man. It's a walk off win. I'm happy for you. You deserve
it was
it.
fun to see. It's fun to
Walk
see. I
off
mean, the
win.
Colts. Fun to see. Colts aren't going anywhere, and Jets are absolutely dead. They just fired their GM, which is wild to me.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
pretty. Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. But yeah,
but both these teams, I mean, they're not going. Jets are definitely not going anywhere. I mean, Colts are 5-6. I mean, could they win the division? Sure. Houston swept them, so they're like 3 games behind technically. But I mean, it's fun to see. All I asked was that AR did really well, which is cool. You got the win, even better. That's fine.
you got something to look forward to this Sunday. Like you got some life to like. Oh, I look forward to watching this week versus being like, okay, I'm in
Yeah,
despair.
if it was
Let's
Joe
wrap this shit up.
Flacco, if it was the AARP Bowl, Joe Flacco versus Aaron Rodgers, I would not want to have watched.
Facts.
Um, so, but this
It could
game
have
that I
been
did
so
watch,
bad that it was good though too. Like it could
ugh,
have been
God,
like, no, never mind.
it could have been like that Thursday night football game, Matt Ryan against Russell Wilson, like 2 years ago. It was like 18-15, only field goals.
That was probably the worst game I've ever watched in recent memory. I remember I think
It's
it was
prime
my
time.
dad, and he was like pissed off. He's like, Matt Ryan needs to retire. Like just the fumble, like everything. It was like infuriating to watch. I was like, God, this is so aggravating. But we watched it, and we were probably all texting, just like this is the worst. Like, there's got to be something better I can be doing right now with my time than watching this game. But literally anything. But I'm watching it. But yeah. Anyways, but
This other one, good conversation. Two division or good division game that I did watch. More most people probably did. It was probably the pegged as the game of the week. Ravens Steelers, in Pittsburgh. Steelers do come away with the win after kicking 6 field goals. Shout out Chris Boswell, 6 for 6. Justin Tucker went 1 for 3. He missed 2 field goals. Obviously, technically, if they would have won, if he would have made even just one of them. I mean, Ravens have the best offense in the NFL, and they failed to get over 17 points, or barely didn't get even 2.5 touchdowns or whatever. Is Justin Tucker washed or what?
I never thought I'd be like mouthing those words, but it doesn't look good. I mean, if anyone can come back, you'd like to think it's Justin Tucker. But I mean, this isn't a one-off, right? Like he's had several games this season where he's missed kicks, where maybe it sucks that the Ravens lost this game off like a missed field goal. Like
Yeah.
that. I think that's what sucks, right? Because any other year, he makes that, but that's how it goes. I mean, he's probably the GOAT, right? So
He's
hopefully
missed
I like
6.
does that lead the league?
He is 38th in the league in field goal percentage, which is funny because there's only 32 teams, but kickers switch so fast that it's hard
Yeah,
to judge.
that's tough. I don't think he's done though. I think he'll be back next year for sure. I mean, unless he has if they lose the playoffs off a kick or something weird, right? with a team that good and the urgency to win a Super Bowl, like maybe they can move on from him. But as long as he doesn't do that, I my gut feeling is he will be back next year. And then if it's bad next year, then that could be that'll be it, Or if he's really bad to start the season, maybe he'll be done before then. But
In all 6 of his misses, here's a cool stat. In all 6 of his misses, they all came in games that ended in 1 possession.
It's brutal. I mean, they're lucky they're winning games and they're a good enough team, right? But I hope they don't lose in the playoffs off something like that. You know what I mean? Like that would be kind of crappy, but for him, But it's definitely something to keep an eye on because they're still a good team. I mean, Pittsburgh is leading the division now, right? Which is crazy.
Yep.
So they're going to have their second game, sooner than later. So, if hopefully he can like kind of get it together going into the playoffs. No one wants to see him. Nobody wants to see Justin Tucker washed.
No, definitely. Yeah, but good division matchup. I mean, ended in a 2 points or 2-point difference, which those division games are always fun. Kind of like this one, Seahawks in San Francisco. This one was kind of a shock to me. I thought San Francisco was going to kind of come out and McCaffrey kind of warmed up a little bit. Maybe would kind of take more control of this game, perhaps. I mean, Brock Purdy didn't look good. He threw for like 150, had a pick. Geno threw no touchdowns, but threw for over 200. Still had a pick though, but that walk-off, rushing touchdown, in the final minute was definitely pretty nails. Yeah,
baller.
Going in the fourth quarter, like Seattle was winning 13-10, and I mean, definitely, it's a defensive game, which is fine, but I think San Francisco's offense on paper outperforms Seattle's defense. That Thursday night football game that they played, the first game of the season, wasn't really close. I mean, it was kind of like 2 possessions the whole game, and Seahawks would score, but the Niners would score right away, and then they got to stop, and then Niners would score again. So it was always kind of like 2 possessions throughout that whole game the first time they played. So that's what I thought it was going to be like. And more, it's in Santa Clara too. So, a good place to play for Niners, for that bang bang Niner gang. But this loss, man, does not look good. Like for San Francisco, like I feel like there's a bunch of quotes.
5-5 though, right? I mean, but they're both 5-5. It's. I mean, yeah, but with CMC back, you're expecting us to kind of get back to normal. But it could take.
You're the NFC. You're the NFC. You're the NFC Championship or NFC champion, and you're losing 20-17 to the Seahawks at home. Like, and you're 5-5 in Week 11. Like, that's rough.
I mean we're super injured, right?
I know. I guess I get it. But
I know you're saying the urgency is there, right? Like they're in a full-on sprint for the rest of the season to hopefully make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean they're like I think plus 200 now to make the playoffs, which beginning of the season they were probably like minus 800 or something like that. So definitely been trending downwards, and they had that really close walk-off field goal against Tampa Bay the week prior. I mean, so it's kind of close, but who knows? We'll see. Seahawks. I mean, good win. That division's pretty wide open. Seahawks looked really good first like 3 weeks, and they like took a shit for like 4 weeks in a row. I think they lost 4 in a row, and then kind of on the uptick again. So good to see. Like Geno. I like JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's my boy, Ohio State baby. I love it. What's it called? Speaking of things that I do love, also is betting the house on Josh Allen to win and finally take down. I mean, he's pretty solid against Mahomes in the regular season, but Bills look pretty
always
strong.
Goes south.
It's true, but dude, Mahomes 2 picks. Josh Allen throws for over. Dude. Josh Allen throws for over 250. Casey was actually up in this game. They were up. I believe it was 14-10, maybe. Let me see. 14-13 was the last lead they had right before half, or 2 minutes left in the half, and then nobody scored in the second or third quarter, and then all the scoring kind of came at that end. Buffalo scored, and then Kansas City had that quick drive, and then Josh Allen had that. I don't know if anyone saw it or if you saw it, his like highlight run at the end. Just kind of plowed it in the end zone to pretty much seal the game. It was crazy because I was watching it live, and I was like, dude, like they're winning 23-10. They have the ball like borderline like in the red zone, on the there's a 26-yard touchdown. So on the 26, there's literally 2 minutes left. Like, and they're up 2 already. So even if they kick a field goal, they'll be up 5, whatever. And in my heart, I'm like, the fucking Chiefs are gonna win this game. Like, I don't know, I can't. Like, it's so crazy to me.
You're conditioned to it almost.
Like, there was a meme. It was like Josh Allen on the sideline with the Chiefs driving down 9, and he just looks disheveled. And he's like, Josh Allen's scared that he's about to witness the first 10-point touchdown.
Honestly, no. Glad the Bills won. I mean, they've been playing great for weeks. Josh Allen, MVP, possibly would be cool. I wouldn't be mad at it. Yeah, now it's like the race for home field. Like, are the Chiefs going to lose again? Though I think that's the question, right? Because Buffalo has 2 losses, so are
Will's gonna come off now? Will's gonna come off. They're gonna lose like freaking 2 in a row now, or what?
No, watch. The Chiefs. Let's say the Chiefs lose one, and then the Bills have the tiebreaker, and the Bills will lose to someone stupid last minute.
Oof.
And then lose home field, and I'll like flip the tape. Like, what the? You know what I mean? And then Chiefs get home field, and then it's just curtains, and Although the Chiefs won on the road last year, so. I don't know. I would like Buffalo to get home field. I'm kind of all the way out on. I don't say all the way out, but like I was super big on Baltimore. Always misleads me, man. Like I said that a few weeks ago. I was like, Baltimore looks really good, but I felt this way last year, right? And then they totally let me down in the playoffs against the Chiefs. That's kind of how I feel right now. Like with the loss to the Steelers. I mean. Steelers are good, but I think most people picked Baltimore to win that game, right? They thought the offense would be better. Steelers' defense is good, but you just they passed the eye test. The Ravens just appear to be the better team, right? So now, that's another thing to like pay attention to, right? Are the Steelers going to carry that through the rest of the season or not? But I don't know who the Chiefs. To get back to the Chiefs, though, I don't know who they're going to lose to get 2 losses, to be honest. Maybe Denver? Have they played twice already?
And I think they played twice. They have? I think so. But no, yeah, it was, great game to watch. It definitely was the, top game of the week. If you know anything about recent history, they're definitely bound to meet each other again in the playoffs. That matchup's going to be close. Yeah. Oh, no. I lied. They do play the Broncos last game of the season. That would be awesome.
Believers, where you at?
Dude, seriously. And it's in Denver, too, dude. I'm buying a ticket and flying there. Can you imagine? It's like for the division. I don't even think that would be possible. I don't think the math is possible in that one.
No, but if they could spoil, right? If Denver, if the Chiefs have... Well, real quick, now that we're talking about it, what's the Chiefs' schedule the next 6 weeks?
I just got out of it. It is at Panthers versus Raiders versus Chargers at Browns. 3 out of 4 wins. Chargers would be the only one they could potentially lose.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe Denver could be a spoiler, and then Bills get home field last week in the season if the Bills don't blow it. That would be sick.
Yeah, we'll see though. Josh Allen got it done. They've been on a good tear. In recent weeks too. Josh Allen's looking great, taking care of the ball. The run game looks good, albeit not in this game because Kansas City's defense is pretty good against the run. But unless Josh Allen's been pretty consistent and bumped his name up in an MVP conversation, along with obviously our boy Jared Goff. But he's definitely up there, leading his team to a 9-2 record. I mean, that's one game behind, or half game technically behind Kansas City. So we'll see how these next few weeks play out. Final two games, the final two primetime games of the week, kind of touch on those. Bengals at Chargers was a Sunday Night Football game. Chargers were up by 21. Joe Burrow almost leads the comeback. Throws for 350 yards again. I feel like he throws for like a 400-piece every week. 3 touchdowns again. I feel like he's doing that with no hesitation. And you have the worst defense in the league to give up 34 points. So
that game was infuriating to watch. I know we were all talking that night. And, God, if Joe Burrow had, like, what we say, like a top 20 defense, dude, they'd be like Super Bowl contenders, you know? It's crazy. I mean, the only thing I can think of to compare it to, I was going to say like a couple of years with Aaron Rodgers, but not really, because the defense was bad, but they were winning games left and right still, right? Like, their defense, I don't think, was ever this bad, where the quarterback play is so good and the defense is so, when you can't win games because Joe Burrow is playing better than 90% of NFL quarterbacks this season.
Let's see. He is first in completions. He is first in yards by over 200, so that's almost a borderline game. He is not leading in yards per catch. He's ranked second in average yards per game, and he is leading the league in touchdowns as well. So,
so he's the best quarterback in the league. Great, got it.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's
oh yeah, okay, cool. That clears it up. So yeah, I said more than 90% of the league, and that was a factual statement. So yeah, it's just tough. I feel bad for him because that game was within reach, and the Chargers tried to charge her, right? They tried to charge her the game away, but the Bengals charged harder. I think that's what's annoying too, right? Is that there was a glimmer where like, okay, Chargers are gonna blow it, and then it was like both teams were trying to lose. It was the end. The end was incredibly frustrating for me.
Yeah, I mean it's good. I mean, I like seeing the Chargers win. Obviously being kind of from here, and you like to see him do good. And Justin Herbert, you want to see him do good. Top defense in the league, which is fun. But you just feel so bad because Burrow's putting up MVP season and he's not even in that conversation because they're 4-7, dude. Like they're just
I definitely don't hate the Chargers or root against them, but like I feel like with the Bengals and Joe, like they're a fun team to watch. Joe Burrow's awesome. The offense is great. They started off awful, and they were technically in the hunt, right? There was hope in their season, and a win on Monday would have kept the hope alive. And I think that's what was exciting, was like, hey, if this team can string together a couple wins, they might be able to sneak into the playoffs. You know what I mean? And you know what Joe can do. So it would have been like an exciting thing to keep an eye on. I think that's why everyone's disappointed, because I don't think anyone really believes in the Chargers, in the playoffs, really, right? But the Bengals could be a totally different story, having started so bad, and to get there, they have a little bit of juice. It could have just been something fun to see, but now they're officially dead, which sucks. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Definitely sucks. Hopefully Joe Burrow continues to put up great numbers and they figure out getting the defense. I don't think Zach Taylor makes it after this season. I don't think he makes it to 2025 season. I'm not saying he's the worst coach. I just don't think he's doing much. But I don't think he makes it, just because that's usually the first person to go to kind of change up some stuff. In the offseason, he'll play them out, obviously, because they're not like dead yet. The offense is still putting up freaking big boy numbers, so just sucks. What also sucks is the Cowboys at home. The last game of the week was that Monday night game, Houston against Texans. Go into Jerry World. There was like shit falling from the ceilings before the game, dude. I was like reading that. It's like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, dude, what the fuck is going on? And the omen was that Cooper Rush was going to outplay CJ Stroud, and he did. which was insane. Cooper Rush threw for over 300 yards and a touchdown. CJ Stroud had no touchdowns. So, Cooper Rush for MVP.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I wasn't surprised the Cowboys. Not think I was surprised the Cowboys lost, but yeah, Texans are kind of like skating by. They're kind of like the AFC Packers, like I said before, right? Like they can be very good, but they haven't really beaten any good teams, and they're kind of just like skating by wins, right? I feel like it's kind of a similar team.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope they're not one and done in the playoffs, but they really gotta catch fire soon. You know what I mean? Because they've kind of just been hovering for a few weeks. And the talent's there.
Yeah.
It's just they gotta get hot, you know.
Yeah, hopefully, man, there's a chance to get hot at the right time, which is great. I love them to represent the AFC, do well in the playoffs. I mean, it sucks they lost Stephon Diggs early on. I mean, Nico Collins is back, but I mean, CJ Stroud is definitely in a sophomore slump. It looks like he's just not throwing it very well. I mean, again, they won 34-10, but three touchdowns came from Joe Mixon. So,
Bengals legend Joe Mixon.
Seriously. So yeah, definitely good. I think there was some good football. Looking at the schedule for next week, I think week 11 looks way better. Just if you look at the schedule for next week, who's on the bye is Atlanta's on a bye for this week. Buffalo's on a bye. Cincinnati's on a bye, so that's a win for them. Nice. New Orleans and the Jets. Thank fucking God, we don't want to see them anymore.
Jets and Jaguars both on a bye.
Jets and Jags both on a bye. Not a lot of great matchups. I mean, Thursday night's going to be Pittsburgh at Cleveland. I mean, it's not going to be Jameis Winston, great game. I mean, I would like to see it close, but I mean, Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh defense is not finding a way. They're finding just ways to win every single time. So, I don't know if you have anything on that one. Dang, yeah, this week 12 slate is pitiful. Minnesota, Chicago, I guess a division matchup. Minnesota, it's a game that they need to win, if they want to stay on pace with trying to win that division if they want to, or definitely stay ahead of Green Bay in the wild card race. I think is more important to them. Definitely a win. You gotta steal in Chicago,
Yeah, I think so. I kind of like the Bears in that game, to be honest.
Ooh, sneaky upset.
Yeah, I need the Bears to win. But yeah, they kind of played a decent game last week. Packers made some mistakes, but it could be like throw everything at the kitchen sink kind of game, signs of life game.
Yeah.
Or not. They could keep trending down. But if there's ever like a throw a kitchen sink game, it's this one. Dude,
I just looking at the slate. There's probably like 4 games that are actually quote unquote would be like good. This next one's not. Detroit at Indy.
Game of the week. What are you talking about, Willis?
I mean, if AR goes off and looks somewhat even, if he throws for half the amount of touchdowns and half the amount of yards that Goff will go for, that'll be a great game for Anthony Richardson. So whatever Goff throws, he should just throw half of that and be awesome. So that's what I'm hoping for.
So if Goff goes 8 for 8, 212, 3 tuds again, you'll be happy with 4 for 4, 2 tuds, 100 yards.
Hell yeah, dude. That's called efficiency, baby.
Efficiency.
With a loss. But yeah, Detroit will take that one pretty easily. I mean, a lot of people were pegging that one as like a sneaky upset for Indy because they beat the Jets and AR is like back. But I'm like, no, take it easy. Indy's defense is still not that good. And Detroit is just rolling on literally all cylinders. So Detroit takes that one pretty easily. New England, Miami. New England goes into Miami. Miami has back-to-back home games, which is great. This is one they need to win. Good division matchup as well for them. New England's looking okay. Drake May looks decent the last couple weeks, but I think Tua and company take this one pretty handily at home.
I agree.
Yeah. Tampa Bay at New York. Tommy Cutlets gets his first start, which is, it's insane. What I did see, I don't like talking about the Giants.
They moved Daniel Jones 4th on the depth chart.
That's what I was gonna say.
Wild,
that is insane.
Dude. Say you are done.
That's what I was gonna say because somebody said like Drew Lock was the backup quarterback, and they said the second you move away from Daniel Jones, you're gonna go to freaking Tommy DeVito. But the reason they do that is for publicity because they think that they'll get more, clickbait or more views. Maybe I don't know.
No,
That's my
I
only
saw a good
guess.
analysis over it. They have Drew Lock, who's obviously better. But what they're saying is like it's if Drew Lock strings together a couple wins, it hurts your draft position, and Drew Lock may not be there next year.
Oh,
DeVito's not going to win games, and he's a warm body to throw in there, right? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So Drew Lock seems obvious, but obviously they're benching Daniel Jones to save the draft position. It's dumb, but it makes sense though. You know what I mean? But
Just save their
Drew
draft
Lock,
position. They should have just left Daniel Jones in.
I know.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, it'll be fun, I guess, for him to go put him back in there. But I mean, it's Denbe's gonna win that one. But it'll be fun. It's gonna get all the freaking memes or whatever. But because they're like, oh, he won like what 2 games last year or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and he's Italian, so
Yeah, in New York.
who cares?
Next 3 games on this slate are all Dallas at Washington, KC at Carolina. I mean Dallas is absolutely bad, but it's an away game. But Jaden Daniels has got to come out and keep that rookie of the year competition close, or at least take the lead again. I think he comes out and they just put up a freaking offensive nightmare at home.
Washington is 10.5-point favorites, dude.
Yep, that's tough. It's a lot.
What an insane line. I mean, in Dallas's defense is that bad. I mean, Justin said it from week 1, but 10.5 points is still insane.
Did you see Micah Parsons on his pod? He's like, I know we're 3-7, but we're not a bad team. I was like, bruh, now you're bad.
Check the film, bruh. The lie detector determined that was a lie.
I was like, bro. Yeah, we're the best 3-7 team in the league, sure.
He's like, we identify as a good team.
I guess if you want that title with the freaking number 1 3-7 team. But yeah, Cowboys are bad. I want our boy JD to go off. As this is a Jade Daniels pod, and we do love him here. So
I think with that Dallas defense, he goes Hamboni is for sure.
Be fun to see, especially coming off that loss against Philly. This next one, I mean, KC Carolina. KC's gonna come out. I don't think they're gonna destroy because they haven't really destroyed anyone. I mean, if they would destroy somebody, would be the Carolina Panthers, who were on a bye last week. And then obviously KC coming off of the loss. I don't know. I mean, KC by 10.5. Whew, I don't know about that. I mean,
11. Yahoo says 11.
Oh, Yahoo says 11. The Panthers are coming on that 2-game win streak, baby. Win streak for the Panthers. So I think it'll be a lot closer.
Disrespectful.
Seriously, I think it'll be a little bit closer, but KC will win. But this next one too. Yeah, no, I missed a division matchup, I guess. Tennessee at Houston. Houston needs to come out, and CJ Stroud's kind of got to shake whatever rust off that he's got and throw. I mean, Tennessee's defense isn't the greatest. Division game, you want to show that you actually mean something in the AFC. Again, we're at that point. Good teams or teams that are aimed for the playoffs need to beat up on these bad teams, and this is one that they need to.
They're 8-point. Another huge spread. The week of the bad matchups, I guess.
Dude, yeah, that's what I said. It's only like 4 games, and we only touched on none of them. It's all the last 4 that are good, I think, in my opinion, obviously.
I mean, obvious records are Chargers, Ravens, yeah. Cards Seahawks is exciting, I think.
That's the 4 that I got. San Francisco, Green Bay, Arizona, Seattle, Philly, LA, and Baltimore, LA, technically, I guess. Those are the 4 matchups that I have actually to watch this week. But yeah, Tennessee, Houston, they got to win. Tennessee's pretty bad. I mean, Denver, Las Vegas, again, another division matchup that isn't fun to watch, and you just hope like what you don't want is like Vegas to win. Like for what fucking reason, dude? We want Bo Nix to go off. We want Denver to look good. That would just piss me off, actually.
It could happen, I guess, but I agree. I hope it doesn't. I really
It's
don't.
the same. It's the same thing. I'm in like the same boat. I think for both those games. Can Will Levis really pull off a win? Sure, it wouldn't be like unheard of. Same thing for Gardner Minshew at home, no less. But that would just piss me off. We want the better teams to win. We want Bo Nix to win. We want CJ Stroud to win because that's you know not saying what everyone wants, but that's not what everyone wants. Not what should happen. I mean, it is technically like on paper, but that's just what's good for the game. Is good teams should be taking beating these bad teams instead of some random ass upset. Unless you're betting on it, then hey, power to you. But I would not bet on any of those upsets for sure. Um, and this one, no, kind of touch on these last four that I think are the matchups definitely to watch. Niners visit Green Bay, which they always play each other really well, in my opinion, especially in the playoffs. I think they're always a fun matchup. It's getting colder in Wisconsin, no less, so it's a little bit different weather than these Cali boys for sure. Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Packers got to win, man. They got to win to keep up with Minnesota. I mean, the Niners are healthier, right? But they didn't look good last week. Packers got to win, plain and simple, right? It's probably one of the best rosters, if not. Well, no, it's other than the line. I mean, it's one of the best rosters they've seen, right? They need to beat a potentially good team. I still need to see that. Um, that's it. It's not a must-win game, but depending on how Minnesota plays this weekend, and the seeding and stuff, I feel they got to win this game. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, San Francisco needs, it'd be good to see them bounce back. I mean, they're, dropped to 5-5 now. They lost the game at home, to Seattle. And, this game would help not only for division wise, because they're definitely in the lead for that, but, it would have technically wild card ramifications as well. Because Green Bay, I doubt they're catching Detroit. No disrespect to Green Bay. That's all my respect to
One's
Detroit.
catching Detroit, man.
So this game has kind of both those ramifications, but dude, I mean, San Francisco's been on that kind of downslide, and they've just been underwhelming, this entire year. And again, they've been injured, but we're going into week 12. It's like, hey, no more excuses. If you're gonna cut the cord and take a shit, then do it. Then don't come out expecting to win these games. Just be like, fuck it. We'll do whatever. If we win, great, but don't have these expectations, or at least don't put these expectations on the players. That's what's in their head, right? Hey, we need to be in the NFC Championship again because we've been in it 4 out of the last 6 years. Hey, we need to be in the Super Bowl in it because we've been at it for 2 of the last, 6 years. I think that's what's still in their heads. And if that's the case, then we'll go out and win this game. And if you don't, I'm out. I'm out on them.
Yeah.
Like, if they lose this game, if they get blown out in this game, I'm out on them, like, out of the playoffs. If they lose this game but are close, I'm saying not their division anymore, and they're going to be crawling, scathing for a 7 seed. That's what I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that. It makes sense.
I mean, this, and then, like I said, and it trickles into this next one, Arizona, Seattle. I mean, Arizona's in the driver's seat of that division now, which nobody would have saw that coming. I do think this is a good matchup for them to kind of...
But...
Huh?
By one win.
I mean, yeah, I mean, still, that's in the driver's seat. You're in first place.
But it's in Seattle. Seattle just came off that upset, that win, right? So this is actually a huge game.
Cardinals went on a 4-game win streak.
I feel like they're due for a loss, though. Now that you said that,
I don't want them to. I want Arizona to win, man. They're young. They're fun. They sold me 4 weeks ago, or whatever, when we were talking about them. So I'm all in.
Yeah, I can't back down now. I was riding Arizona as a frisky team. I mean, Arizona's -1 in Seattle, so that's as even as it gets. I just hope it's close. I hope, I hope Seattle doesn't like blow them out or anything.
Yeah, I definitely don't see that happening. For what does Justin say? Division game, anything can happen. Always. That's what he always freaking says. Um, this one's not a division game, the Sunday night football game, but for whatever reason, when they play often. I feel like Philly at LA. The only reason why I know that is I have a lot of buddies that are Eagles fans. I feel like they are always at the games. Um, the Rams are coming off of the loss to Miami, last. Well, I mean, I guess this would be their almost like back-to-back primetime games because they barely beat the Patriots. But coming off that loss on Monday night 2 weeks ago to the Dolphins, I mean, Philly is they haven't sold me, but beating Washington, everyone's kind of saying, "Oh, is the Phillies from or Phillies? Is this the Eagles from 2-3 years ago when they made it to the Super Bowl?" They get more dominant, I think, every single week. Would I like the Rams to win? Yes. If the Eagles play how they did on Thursday night against Washington, I think the Eagles got it.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Stafford looked awesome this week, right? It'd be kind of cool if they carry. I mean, not cool, but because I need them to not. Actually, I don't know if it matters who wins for seeding. Eagles aren't going to fall off a cliff. The Rams need it bad, and it's in LA. I think the Eagles are too good, though. I just think they're a better team. I think they win this game.
Yeah, they are favored
If Stafford
in LA.
plays like he did last week, could get interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. I mean, Rams are all healthy now. They got a good offense. Kyren Williams, Cooper Kupp, Puka. I mean, Stafford could still sling it. So it definitely is possible. I do feel like these teams always play each other really well. Also, like it's a close game. This is the game. Do you remember where Carson Wentz tore his ACL, freaking dove in the end zone and get into the playoffs and everything? Like the game, game-winning touchdown or torn ACL. Like they played close. Definitely, if LA wants to keep pace in that division, I want them to win, or they should be winning, and I want Washington to win that division. So ergo, I want Philly to lose. So,
Facts.
And finally, to round it out, the Monday night game, Baltimore at LA. I don't know why, for whatever reason, I swear to God, this game already happened like 8 weeks ago, but I've been sure I was tripping. I don't know why,
I know, right?
but
It does feel like one of those games. Like, did this already happen?
But the Chargers have been surprising. Their defense wasn't surprising this season. They were kind of going in. Everyone was pretty healthy. They got Mack, they got Bosa, they got Derwin James. Like, defense has been consistent every single game. I think their offense was what was kind of coin toss. How is Ladd McConkey going to do as a rookie? How is Quentin Johnson going to do after he had all those drops? How is J.K. Dobbins going to do coming off of an Achilles injury? How's Herbert going to do? Not with no real weapons, no Keenan Allen. Like, and they've kind of put it together. It definitely enough to, to win some games, which is fun to see. Baltimore wants to be that top seed and fight for that top seed. I mean, they got to go in LA and win, man. Like, personally, I don't know.
Like now, but I know Baltimore. I mean, the Pittsburgh loss. I don't take a lot of stock in. Pittsburgh's kind of owned them, even though Baltimore has been good, the last couple of years. But this is a game for me personally, and this could be pure emotion. I don't care if it's close. If the Ravens lose to the Chargers, I'm all the way out on the Ravens because I'm not buying the Chargers personally.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they lose, they're 7-5. It's crazy. They look like a beatable team. But the Chargers have the best defense in the league, and it'll be interesting to see if Derrick Henry is going to run rampant, or if they can contain him. Shit, maybe Chargers do win. That's actually going to be a good game to watch. But yeah, if Baltimore loses, I'm out on them.
I mean, it's the number one offense, or technically a number one offense against the number one defense, and technically, the Chargers are half game ahead of Baltimore in the playoff race, or in the wild card because they have one extra loss. So I mean, should they win this game? No. If the Chargers do win, I mean, they're coming off that win against Cincinnati, a good offensive team, obviously. So that was a great offense against great defense, and they still, technically could have lost, but Cincinnati's defense is just too bad. No, man, I got the Bolts. I got the Bolts to freaking put you all out on Baltimore because I would think would be just fun. Freaking fuck up the AFC, dude.
Yeah, if inversely, if the Chargers do win, then like for me, that kind of gives them some validity in my eyes. Like I'll be more of a believer. I was super big on Baltimore a few weeks ago, and I coined them too early, and so I don't know. I expect Baltimore to win, but if they don't, I'm not picking them rest of the year.
No, I think they'll be fun. I think if the Chargers do win, yeah, I think if the Chargers win, it would shake things up in the AFC a little more. Everyone, I think it would kind of put them on the map as like, oh shit. I mean, they're winning. They're kind of getting by. Their defense is top tier, which is great, and that's what wins. Defense wins championships. But I think if the Chargers win this game, albeit at home, but in primetime, everyone watching them, obviously everyone's going to watch this game. It's primetime Baltimore, LA, like 2 7-win teams, I think it definitely puts them on the map in that playoff picture, and they'll start being more conversations, and the headlines will kind of be like, oh, are the Chargers actually, can they make some noise in the playoffs? Like, what can they do?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after KC loses to Carolina, then we're like, wow, can the Chargers really come back and win this division? Like, I mean, dude,
when KC loses, when hell freezes over.
So, but no, it sucks. I mean, I think this last week was really good. Had some really good close games. Obviously, this one there was like 4 or 5 of the games that were more than one touchdown favorites. One way or the other. So those aren't as much fun. Like I said, there was 4 on there. If you had to pick one game, this will be fun. Real quick to finish it out. If you had to pick one game to watch and one game to really not watch, which one are you picking? And I know which game you're gonna pick to watch, but whatever.
Let me find the game to not watch.
I think that one's gonna be harder.
Not watching Browns Steelers. If I had to watch outside of the Packers game, is what you're implying?
Yeah, because I knew that would be your thing. So yeah, outside of the Packers game,
Lions Colts. I'm just kidding. Is that what you thought I was gonna say?
No.
Game to watch. Well, Monday is its own thing, but I'm gonna say Cardinals Seahawks.
Cardinals Seahawks. If they get one, me, I'm going New England, Miami, and New England just bores the shit out of me watching them. And Miami's stadium hurts my eyes. It's just not fun. It looks boring there. It looks like no one's having fun. Like, I don't know. I don't like Hard Rock, so that's a game I'm not watching at all. And I think Miami should easily handle it. New England's offense isn't exciting. Miami's offense is fun, but they just started clicking, so I got to give them a few weeks. But yeah, New England is bad to watch. That's the game I'm not watching. The game I am watching, I'm gonna pick your Packers to watch them. So I'll watch them and let you know. I think that's a great one. Not a must win for the Pack, but definitely if they want to stay afloat and it's not the end of the world if they lose, and it's not like panic mode if they lose. But it's
like no one will take them seriously,
Good, they're in a good position if they win. But on the flip side, it's like borderline like, oh shit, are we bad if Niners lose? And that's Correct. What I think. That's what I want to see them play for. Is like, hey, I don't want to be in that butt end of that conversation. So,
yeah, 100%, my guy.
But thanks for listening. We do appreciate it. We've kind of tried a new thing out, kind of recapping the games, and then previewing the next weeks as we get in the later season or later into the season. Obviously, there's definitely more games, that aren't really exciting to watch, and more that are more exciting to watch too. But nonetheless, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how your team's doing, or if we missed anything. We love stats. We also love emotion too. I think that's what brings the fun into our conversations, because we don't know all the stats. Obviously, we know some, but we know emotion as well. So, and feelings around the NFL. But hit us up on IG, TikTok. You already know. I'll post some clips over this week too, and maybe we'll try this again. To see how everyone likes this little new format. So, but thank you all from the Ball Knowers Pod, and have a good night.
All right, love you, boys.